Empire Super Sprints recently wrapped up their championship for 2023, and the same driver who won the championship last year ended up winning again. 95 points was the margin between champion Jordan Poirier and, of course, our good friend Sean Donath from down here in central New York. So let's head up south of Montreal. Jordan Poirier is actually on his way home from work. He works for the family business. You guys know it on the car, Four Seasons Foundations, of course. How do you say it in French, Jordan? It sounds a lot better when you say it.
It's Quatre Frères, Quatre Saisons in French.
There you go. See, that's why I didn't do it, and that's why I left that to him. So, first of all, congratulations. Has to feel great to win a second championship in a row.
Yeah, it feels really good. I feel like this one's been a little bit harder than last year. We've been struggling a little bit in the middle of the summer, so I feel like this one I was more happy with this one, I think.
Where were the struggles? What was going on?
I had one crash at Freedom. I developed the Lyme disease in the middle of the summer, so I feel like that one was pretty painful.
Oh, no.
We broke a gear at Utica, so we had some struggle of our own. I think on the racetrack we weren't bad, but just never the best one. We were always like third, fourth, fifth, which in the end was good for the championship, but for monthly it's hard to always finish third, fourth, and fifth. We would have wished to win more race probably.
So you actually had Lyme disease this summer. I hear that is rough.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. So I had that big crash at Freedom, and we thought it was concussion at that point. But then I developed other symptoms, and I went to the doctor and to see that it finally was Lyme disease. So 2 weeks after that, it was good, but that month was pretty painful to race, and with work at the same time, I was always tired. So I felt like I drained a little of energy at that point, but after that, everything was okay.
You know, I think you're pretty fortunate too, because I know a lot of people who are down for a lot longer than just a little bit like you were. So any advice for people who might think they have it? Anything they should look for?
The only thing is, if you think you got it, you got it. Because I've been waiting maybe a week or two an extra because I didn't want to tell my mom, and just because we didn't know if it was concussion or anything else, so I didn't want to tell and continue to race. And finally, I did a doctor, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, you need to go to the hospital today." So I was like, "Okay, maybe that's real. Maybe we need to do something."
Okay. What would have been better off? I would think Lyme disease would be better off than having a concussion that could hurt you the rest of your life. Is that right?
Yeah. It's always different for every people. Lyme disease, if you got it at the beginning, you found it at the beginning, you
really
don't have any other symptom. But if you wait 5-6 months with it and you don't find it and you don't take the antibiotics, it can get pretty wild.
What are the early symptoms, Jordan?
I had big red flake on my body. I was always tired, no energy, always sleeping. So, it wasn't common for me. So after work, I had hard time going to the shop, hard time going to the races. So it was kind of a struggle, but it can be, and all those symptoms are pretty much every disease is pretty much that. So it was pretty much a red flake on my body that maybe there's something wrong about me.
Okay, so if you see that, guys, and if you've been walking around an area where there's deer and maybe your pants, maybe you were wearing short pants or something, get in there quickly and make sure you get yourself checked. Tell me about Brockville. Not only did you win the championship, but you won the race.
Yeah, we won Brockville. It felt good because it felt like it has been like 2-3 months since our last win. That's what I told my crew guy. I was like, forget about the win, the races. But Brockville was just like, I loved it. It was shiny bottom to top with just a little bit of moisture up top, and we started third, and I think by lap 3 we were leading. And after that, it was just controlling our tire, managing our race, and it was pretty good to finally be back in victory lane.
I would imagine, yeah, because, I mean, that's the way we want to win the championship, not by sitting there and counting cars. This way at least you know you won, right?
Yeah, it was actually an SOS race. We
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm sorry.
shipped during Super Dirt Week last week at Wheatport. With a, it was still good to finish fourth at Wheatport too.
Yeah, and that's what actually did it at that point. So I looked at your Facebook page, and a post that was there is no longer there. You were mentioning you got this week, of course, at Outlaw Speedway, but you were going to do some 410 stuff. Is that kind of on hold right now?
Yeah, it's on all. We went to Cornwall to practice on our way back from Brockville, and after Cornwall, we thought everything was fixed with our engine. That we had a push rod go
Okay.
wrong at Utica during time trial when they also were in town. So we thought everything was under control, but when I lifted the valve cover last night, something was still iffy. I talked to Parker today. He does think that it's just something at the wrong place, and it's something that we can fix this week. If we're able to fix it, we wanted to go to Bath this weekend. If the rain change, and we would like to go to the Springtoberfest next week at Bridgeport if everything is fixed.
You ever been to Bridgeport?
No, I've never been, but it looks like freaking good track.
Yeah.
Run. So it looks super fun. That's why we want to finish our season right there. So if we can go, hopefully everything is fixed and everything is everything is right, and we'll be able to run it.
Yeah, and for those of you who might not have been to Bridgeport for a while, it's not that big old 5/8 mile track they used to have back in the 90s. It's actually a 3/8 mile. And I know you've talked to some people down there, Jordan. Everybody who goes there tells me the racing is fantastic now.
Yeah, the progressive banking, you get so much big run on the inside guy that it just creates perfect racing for sprint car. I don't know for the other car, but I feel like for sprint car, it's probably one of the best track in the country for probably.
Yeah, and I hear this from modified guys. So, and there are some tracks, usually the banking. Does the banking tend to make sprint car racing better than at a flat track? Is that a factor, Jordan?
I do think so, just because the bottom is so shorter than the top.
Mm-hmm.
You can kill the momentum from the outside guy probably a lot more with when there's a lot of bank.
Yeah, so look forward to that, guys. And if you go ahead. I'm sorry.
It creates a different kind of racing. When it's flat, it's more a little bit more, maybe like a modified, like momentum racing, but like when you can kill a round from the sprint car, it just creates really good racing speed.
Mm-hmm. And if you've been to Fulton, a lot of times you've seen that at Fulton, where there's two, like Sammy Reeks, the fourth is one of the guys I think about who just glues himself to the bottom. It looks like he's going slow, but somehow he's passing guys who are ripping the lip. So look for that. And if you follow Jordan on Facebook, he'll put that up if he goes. This was something we talked about before, and I guess I don't think about it as much with my French-Canadian friends, but you grew up speaking only French, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I learned the English the hard way. Probably not much at elementary school, a little bit in high school. But back then, my uncle Steve had a crew chief, Kevin Lovis, that was working with him, and he was only talking in English. So I learned my English pretty much all from him.
They say immersion is the best way to do it, where basically that's all you're talking. So that was the situation you were in with Kevin, and that kind of helped you, I would imagine, pick it up quicker?
Yeah, and I've always loved the racing, so I've always been around. When I was like 12, 13, 14, I was always following Steve pretty much every weekend. I wasn't racing myself. So I was always with those people. So Steve was talking English with Kevin, so it was just the normal fit to learn that. If you don't learn that, you'll always be stalled and you won't be able to travel and everything. So it was an obligation, and I'm glad I did it back then.
And it's the first time you speak English in a little bit. We are out of time, Jordan, so I appreciate you getting back to me. Good luck this weekend, and we'll look to see if you can get that 410 fixed. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is your ESS champion for 2023. Still got hopefully one more, maybe a couple more races to go. We'll have to see it. If he wins one more, we'll make sure we get back in touch with him. Hit the subscribe, hit the likes, leave a comment if you like, and we'll be back with more later this week.